Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rahawadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, Akim, pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and sincerity. As always, I'd like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations. But if you're lineage by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, meaning that you're a descendant of Israel, because your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers, pertaining to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. And it doesn't matter what you look like, because Israel has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities, so we are going to look like all nations, pertaining to the speckled bird that's mentioned in the scriptures. So I want to play this video. Just happened to stumble across this in my YouTube feed, but it's very interesting. It's basically an example of a resurrection. Now most people wouldn't, in this present era, wouldn't believe that resurrection is possible, but it is very possible because we learn of it in the scriptures. Now what this video is about is basically there's a baby girl that apparently died and was pronounced dead. And at the funeral, when they were going to bury her, baby was all laid up in a coffin and stuff. And someone noticed that the baby's head moved. So the baby basically came back to life. So I'm going to play this video. Then I'm going to get into some scriptures and precepts. So let's play this video.
Welcome back. Oh, this story really shakes you up. So if you're a parent, burying a child is your absolute worst nightmare. But over in the Philippines, a true miracle happened to a toddler and her family.
Local 15 web content specialist Taryn Reed is standing by this morning. And Taryn, there's actually video of this.
Yes, there is, Pat. The 3-year-old girl was being prepared for burial when she began to move inside her coffin. A neighbor of the family had opened the girl's coffin to adjust the body when he noticed a slight movement of her head. The girl was apparently pronounced dead 2 days earlier. Video footage posted online shows the ceremony erupting in chaos as a man and woman, identified by the Philippine Star as the girl's parents, pick her up out of the casket and wrap her in blankets. The police inspector told the paper he was not the proper authority to pronounce on a medical case, but did confirm the parents said the girl had, quote, severe fever for days, so they took her to a medical clinic on Friday, where she was pronounced dead early the next morning. After the funeral incident, the little girl was doing well enough to go home after some tests were done. Medical personnel will check on her condition in the coming days to make sure she is improving. You can see this video again on our website. Check out the Around the Web section of local15tv.com. Can't even wrap your head around that, for that to happen, to go from sad tears to happy tears, knowing that the baby, thankfully she's fine. I'm glad they opened that casket to check, to move around.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Taryn.
Well, what I find interesting about this story is that they say the baby was pronounced dead, and 2 days later they had a funeral or something like that. So basically, if you add that up, it's kind of like Yahushua, he died and then he rose on the 3rd day. Now, most people wouldn't believe that resurrection is possible, but it is possible. Now I'm going to get some precepts to prove this. Well, I'm going to read this account in Luke chapter 8 and verse 40, and it says, "And it came to pass that when Yahushua was returned, the people gladly received him, for they were all waiting for him. And behold, there came a man named Jairus, who was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Yahushua's feet and besought him that he would come into his house. For he had only one daughter, about 12 years of age, and she lay a-dying. But as he went, the people thronged him, and a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood stanched. And Yahushua said, Who touched me? When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And Yahushua said, Somebody hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him, and she declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole, go in peace. While he yet spake, there cameth one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, Master, thy daughter is dead, trouble not the master. But when Yahushua heard it, he answered him, saying, Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole. And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in, save Peter and James and John, and the father and mother of the maiden. And all wept and bewailed her. But he said, Weep not, she is not dead, but sleepeth. That's the point right there. Let me read that again. Luke 8:51. And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in, save Peter and James and John, and the father and the mother of the maiden. And all wept and bewailed her. But he said, Weep not, she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. And he put them all out, and took her by the hand, and called her, saying, Maid, arise. And her spirit came again, and she arose straightway. And he commanded to give her meat. And her parents were astonished, but he charged them that they should tell no man what was done. See, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. And in these last days, it's so important to have faith in these words and in the works that Yahushua performed. You know, if you don't believe that Yahushua could do these things, then you're lacking in faith. Now, most of the world lacks in faith, and they can't come up with a scientific reason or answer as to why this girl resurrected. They call it a miracle, and they just think it's just something that's astonishing and leave it at that. But the Most High was behind all of this. He's the one who took the spirit from the little girl for 2 days and put the spirit back in her body for her to resurrect and wake up. Why? Because obviously those who have faith will see these things and believe in the works. Those who don't have faith will just be like, oh, it's a miracle, and then they'll go on about their life, and their faith won't be built up, their faith won't be increased. But nothing is impossible with the Most High, you know. So I just wanted to do a quick lesson on that, because I thought it was an interesting article, and the scriptures say to be instant in season and out of season. So I thought I'd just do a little spiritual take on this situation. So without giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rahach, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, Archie, and pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and sincerity. And, you know, the scriptures do say that, you know, these works ye shall do, and greater. Let me see if I can find that, just as it jumped into my mind. Ooh. Yeah, I found that precept I want. It's John 14:12. It's the book of John chapter 14 and verse 12, and it says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do he shall do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. You know, and that's talking about the hopeful elect and the 1/3 that are going to believe in the works and the word and the testimony of Yahweh or Yahushai, which is his holy scriptures and the gospel, you know, the gospel meaning the good news. And what better news is there than to be able to, you know, resurrect a child after they've died, if the child is righteous, obviously. Obviously, we'll resurrect Edomites to punish them after we kill them in the kingdom, but that's another story. So with that, just read it one more time. John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So once again, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hachodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, that will well and shalom to Yakim, pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and sincerity. And until the next lesson, I say shalom, wa abba.